So just a quick couple of things before I do blast through. Welcome to everyone. Um, I am going to blast through some slides. What I would say, you're all going to have access to them afterwards. So by all means, take notes. But if it's just copying things on the slide, don't worry about it. It's not death by PowerPoint. The slides are there. If you've seen me present before, then you'll have heard me say this before. The slides are there to keep me on track as much as anything else. I'm going to keep this interactive, so I will be looking for a bit of participation. Please feel free to shout in with questions as you go. Also, the lovely Megan, who's on this call, if there are questions that aren't burning for right now, but you want to get them out of your head and into the chat, Megan will collate those, and there'll be plenty of time for Q&A at the end. I'm going to do maybe 35, 40 minutes on this framework. A couple of minutes right at the end on like how you can work with me and if you want some extra support. But the name of the day right now is going to be about value. So if I can give you lots of actionable takeaways, hopefully you won't mind me taking a couple of minutes to let you know about how I can work with you at the end. So without further ado, let me take you on a little bit of a journey through time. Before LinkedIn advertising and Facebook ads, before cold calling, before even direct mail, back in the day of the cavemen or as prehistoric times, or as long as you want to go, if you were a HR specialist or personal branding consultant or videographer and you wanted to spread the word about what you did, you only had one method available to you, and that was word of mouth. It's the oldest and most successful form of marketing, and we all know this, right? We all know, if you think about your own businesses, you probably get most of your leads through warm introductions. And here's some stats for you that take it away from that feeling piece. 84% of B2B decision makers say they start the buying process with a referral. Once those leads come in, then typically they spend more as well. And this doesn't take into account that typically a referred lead is much more likely to refer you as well, which just goes to show that it's not just what you know, it's who you know. So quick show of hands, how many people here are getting referrals at the moment? Yeah. How many of you are asking for them consistently? Okay, nice. That's a higher percentage than normal. And how many of you would say you think you have partners? So other businesses who are referring you your ideal leads on a consistent basis. Okay, brilliant. Nice work, Jamie. And for those of you that are getting referrals though, if you're honest with yourselves, how comfortable with that are you as a business owner? Do any of you ever feel a little bit anxious that actually this word of mouth thing is a little bit down to chance and it's all on me, and maybe it's not there's a feeling that maybe it's not the most secure way to grow your business? Double hands up from jazz hands from Will. Awesome, thank you. Well, you know what? It's kind of in line with where things are, because on the same survey that the other stats came from, only 30% of companies had this formalized program. But here's the kicker. That anxiety is a normal thing because it's kind of reliant on us. But when we move word of mouth and introductions away from being something that's founder-led and into something that's much more about your brand, is about everyone getting involved and is working with organizations in a systemized process way, it takes it from this thing that feels like it's leaving it to chance and turns it into something that's repeatable, scalable, and scalable in an exponential way rather than a linear way. And that's what the structure does, and that's what the process does, and that's what I want to run through for you today. Now, very quickly before we do that, I think I know most of you, but for those of you that I haven't met before, who am I, what's my background? And you'll see a little logo up there, business scene. I've got a background in business membership. I worked for the Chamber of Commerce and then ran my own membership organisation, Business Scene. We grew that to 2,000 members almost entirely through referrals and partnerships. So I know a bit about this stuff. And that then morphed into a benefit business, and I was responsible for providing leads and the access to the SME market for some of those big old brands that you see there. And now at Collaboration Junkie, we help business owners just like you with the skills and the strategies and the systems and processes to make the most of this channel. So I have mentioned referrals and partnerships a couple of times on this call. I'm just going to give a quick definition as to what I see, my terminology, Dave definitions rather than dictionary definitions, what these things mean. Referrals are great. They can come from anyone and everyone, your customers, your network, your friends, your family, Dave at the pub who you see every now and again. But because of that, the quantity and quality can vary. There's absolutely things that you can do to mitigate that, and I work with businesses on that, but there is a slightly more random nature about them. When I talk about referral partnerships, these are about working with other businesses who have a vested interest in referring your ideal clients at the ideal time to buy on a consistent basis. That's where the strategic bit comes in. You've got a shared vision, a shared end goal for your client. So these people want to refer you and they have the ability to do that. But they're called strategic partnerships for a reason, and that's that you need a strategy behind them if you want them to be successful. And so like all good speakers, I have an acronym that I use for my work, and that is DANCE. And that's the 5 steps that we're going to go through today. We're going to look at the at discovery, which is all around who your ideal partners are. We're going to look at assembly, which is how do you have the systems to scale and build trust. We're going to look at nurturing, which is how you communicate with your partners effectively. Connection, which is where the magic happens. This is about how you actually get your partners to refer to you on a consistent basis. And then last but not least, we'll look at engagement, which is how we actually go out there and get partners. All sound good? Awesome. So let's crack on. Right. There is a number 1 rule with all of this stuff. Hands up if you're busy. Yeah, we're all busy, right? Yeah, we can be good busy, we can be bad busy, but typically we're busy. We live in a busy life and a busy time. Essentially, whether it's referrals or whether it's partnerships, we are asking someone to do something for us that's not part of their core day-to-day activity. And because we're all busy, we all become inherently lazy. And I don't mean lazy, slobby lazy. I mean, if something isn't on our core day-to-day activities, we put it on our I'll get round to it pile. Even if we want to get round to it, we don't often do it. So the key for everything that underpins all of this is make it easy peasy, lemon squeezy for your partners. You want it to be, you want working with you, referring you, talking about you to be the easiest, most natural thing in the world. Because when you do that, they're more likely to do it for you. So this just underpins absolutely everything, which is why I kind of put it in there as my golden rule right at the very start. So with that said, we're going to come on to discovery. Now, this is all about understanding who your ideal partners are. It doesn't mean that we don't partner with anyone else, but if we have a really clear understanding of who we ideally want to be working with, the ones that are going to allow us to make the most impact, provide the most leads, have the most fun, then we tend to attract those people. It's the bit when I work with clients, it's the bit that we spend most time on because it underpins everything. And it's the bit where people typically get the biggest aha moments. And it's no wonder, because quite often this is the bit where people don't quite get it right and they don't give it the time and attention it deserves. And there's a couple of things to this. The first bit is around being specific. So first, being really clear around why you want to partner. Is it, so that could be around how qualified you want the leads, or actually just after profile, and different partners will be different things. And so being really clear on what type of partners you're looking for. Is it channel sales? Are you looking for someone to literally sell your product for you? Or Yeah, is it just more introduction led and how qualified you want those leads to be? But the second thing comes down to what actual leads you want. Now, this isn't a workshop about niching your business. I'm sure we've all heard of the power of having a really clear target market. And it rings true for partnerships as well. If you're clear about what segment of your ideal market you want to target with a partner, it's much easier to demonstrate value quickly to them. It's much easier to understand the real value that you deliver to that specific piece. So if you're serious about doing partnerships, then I would really encourage you to, for the rest of this session, take a few minutes now to think about the clients you have that are the most fun, that pay you well, that you make margin on, that deliver the best impact with the work that you're doing. Whatever's most important to you, think about who those best clients are and have that in mind. It could be a sector, it could be a size, it could be a mindset, whatever it may be. Try and kind of have those things in mind, and because it will make the whole partner process much, much easier. Because once we've got those in mind, we can start thinking about who our ideal partners might be. And there's three things that we can do here. The first one's an obvious one. They need to have you need to have a matching audience. They need to be talking to your target market, right? So there needs to be an audience match. We then need to look at are they talking about congruent things, right? So you may be a digital marketer, and you may share a stationery supplier may share the same audience as you, right? They're not having relevant conversations with your target market, which means the partnership isn't going to work. So first of all, is there a matching audience? The next thing is, are they actually going to be having conversations where what I do is relevant? And the third piece on this is, do they have the right level of authority? So are they talking to the right person in the organization? And are they talking them not only about the right things, but at the right level where them introducing me actually is going to hold any sway whatsoever? And that's your first real three key kind of hit lists on coming up with a short list of who your ideal partners are. From there, we need to look at the most powerful thing you will ever do with your partners, and that's coming up with a partner value proposition. Most people, when they're looking at ideal partners, think about why a partner would want to work with me. And it's all about the value delivered to their clients, right? Oh, we should talk because I do this, this, and this, and I think it'd be great for your clients. Now, even if you don't mean it in that well, if you say that to potential partners, essentially what you're doing is going, let me sell to your list. Go on, give me access to all your customers. And what the partner value proposition is, it takes that value that you deliver to the client and it asks the question of, why is that important to the partner, right? Because your ideal partners, you help them add value to their client. And so you need to talk in language of the partner, not the client. Let me give an example of people I've worked with in the past, right? I'm going to use, I worked with someone who did telemarketing. They were a high-end appointment setting, absolutely brilliant at what they did, appointment setting. And they were going about a partner program, and it all being about, we'll give you some fees and commissions and all that. And it wasn't working. Their chosen partners were people who did inbound leads. So people that did like SEO and pay-per-click advertising, that type of stuff. Because for those people, those pay-per-click people, those inbound lead people, they get a budget to get leads that come into a business. And once the leads are in the business, they lose control over them. They lose control how those leads are followed up on. Now that customer, yes, they're paying the inbound lead company for a volume of leads, but the outcome they really want is sales, right? And so for the inbound lead company, partnering with this telemarketing agency meant that the leads that they were delivered were followed up properly, which more of them converted. So the end result for the customer was better, which meant they spent, not only did they hang around spending more money on inbound leads, but they spent more on it because actually they could see the ROI come through. And so it was looking about who in your customer journey And if you think about your customer and the journey they go on overall, who comes kind of directly before or overlaps with your service? Because with those people, there is a way where you do much more than just add a little bit of value to the client. You're directly helping someone else add value to that client. And so your partner value proposition, that's what that is. It's the copywriter isn't just writing great copy for a client. They're helping a web developer put in a website that works and delivers an end result for the customer. They help, and that's the subtle switch in the partner value proposition. Is it's not about the client, it's about how you help the partner. Because when you shift that mindset, and it becomes a true partnership rather than just something about selling to a list. So yeah, it's the copywriter and the website person. It's the recruiter and HR. It's the where are these joined up synergies? Is that are we okay with that concept, because it kind of underpins everything on the partnership piece? A few nods. Awesome. Very subtle shift in language. Huge impact on what it makes to partner programs. Okay, so we know who we should be partnering with. The next bit comes assembly, which is all the systems. Now, there's a reason why I use this image. It's not just because I like festivals, which I do. Love festivals. But I want you to imagine that you've seen, whatever your musical tastes, you've seen the lineup for the best festival ever. Like a band's come out of retirement where that was never going to happen, and it's just the most awesome mix, right? So you're super excited to get to this festival. When you get there, it takes 3 hours to get in because the gates and the ticket system is awful. You get into the festival and there's one bar and you've got to queue up to get tokens first. And the bar staff is undertrained and undermanaged. And then the set list is in the wrong order. So you don't know who's on when. And the sound, don't even get me started on the sound. It's horrendous, right? No matter what the lineup at the festival next year is, you're probably not going back, because you've lost all faith and all trust in that festival being able to deliver against what they promised. The same is true with your partner program. Having the right systems in place won't win you partners, but it will certainly keep you them and keep people coming back for more and more. Because having the right systems in place allow you to build trust, and it allows you to set up for scale. There's a whole host of things that go into this, but I'm going to mention two, because in my instance, in my own experience, are the ones that do most to damage this. First one is tracking. It is vital that if you have got a partner providing you leads, you know where they are in your customer, both in your prospect journey and your customer journey. Every time someone gives you and makes an introduction to you, they're not just giving you a lead, they are giving you a little bit of their reputation, right? And that's all any of us have. So it's vitally important that we kind of treat that with respect it deserves. So that if I phone you up and go, hey, Sam, you know, I introduced so-and-so the other day, how's that getting on? You're able to tell me. I've had partners before who weren't able to do that. And it does one of two things. It either makes me think that they've not logged them against me, and if there's any commission due and all that, that's not going to be tracked through, or that they genuinely don't know because their process is horrendous, which means you're either a crook or you're incompetent, and that's not a good look for a partner, right? So just whether you can spend thousands on partnership management software, you can use your CRM, your existing CRM system, you can use a spreadsheet. It's better to have a spreadsheet that you use than a CRM system that you don't, but just know what's going on with the introductions that your partners have made. The second one I want to make sure that that you get in place properly is around lead handling. So this is how you get inbound leads into your business. Depending on the volume of leads that you potentially be receiving, this is more of an issue or not. But typically when you kick off a partnership, it doesn't go as well as you think it's going to, right? You plan for world domination and it doesn't quite happen. However, you need to plan for it going better than you ever expected. Because the worst thing that you can do when you kick off a partnership is not deal with the inbound inquiries in a timely and effective manner. Now, this may seem obvious, but when I was working in my membership organization, and it was with one of those other brands that were on the logo, we did a kickoff campaign, and it was to our members and to non-members. It was going to be a great attraction tool. We set it up all really nicely, so if people want to take advantage of the offer, they just had to click one button and the partner automatically got the data. There was supposed to be a 2-day callback on it. We told them how well we were going to do. They said, yeah, we've got it covered. We delivered them 450 leads in a 3-day period, and they couldn't handle it. It took them 2 weeks to get back to some people. So in the meantime, instead of happy members and then lots of prospects phoning us up to go, oh yeah, brilliant, can we join? We had lots of pissed off people phoning us up to complain. The relationship with that partner never really fully recovered because the trust was gone. Because they didn't set up to scale, and they were a huge global organization. So just make sure that you've got these things in place so that you're able to deliver consistently well and keep your partners up to date. One thing I'm going to very quickly mention is around reward and recognition. Referrals, very, very grey area, right? Do not over push an incentive on referrals. You can really turn people off from wanting to refer you. People, particularly your customers and your network, people make introductions because they love to make introductions. And if you over push a reward, start chucking Amazon vouchers, you can offend people sometimes. Actually, if you go, please refer me, I'll give you an Amazon voucher, and people go, oh, I've referred you anyway. Like, that feels a bit icky. I call it the ick, right? Partnerships is slightly different. Often it's a commercial relationship with a business that you didn't even know before. And so for me, often, depending on the sector, there is a commercial relationship that will underpin this. Never is it the main reason. It should never be the main reason. That's affiliates and things like that. The partner value proposition is going to be what's strongest, but having a commercial relationship in place, whether that's a 10% of revenues or a one-off fee, depending what your own kind of pricing structure is, what it can do is help elevate the relationship from a friendly handshake one to something that's a bit more formalized and commercial, that maybe can withstand particular key contacts in an organization leaving. So they are there. What I will do is I'll get Megan to put into the chat a video I did especially on kind of the financial commercial piece, because it's probably a whole workshop in its own right. So, any questions so far? Are we all good? Right. So we know who to partner with. We know we've got to have the internal systems. The next bit is around is the processes and comms processes, and that's the nurturing piece. And it's how we actually build relationships with our partners, because remember, at its core, and particularly in this kind of the software space, there can be this tendency to over automate a relationship. We don't need to speak to our partners. They've got access to live information and they can get their marketing materials from here and all this stuff. And we're missing that at its core, particularly if you're a small business owner, working in partnership is an enjoyable, fun thing to do. And at whatever size you are, really building the watertight relationships is what makes your partnerships long-term, more successful, more impactful, and you're able to uncover opportunities. That said, I'm not anti-automation, because there are different reasons for communicating with your partners and different styles. Just for some of the things that we mentioned about tracking, you might want to send your partners a monthly report of where everything is in terms of prospects and where they are with live customers. A monthly report on the same day, every time in the month. Just doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it, by the way, is a massively underrated skill in today's market. So many people don't do that. The amount of partners I used to have to chase for my monthly report so that I could then send them an invoice and all this stuff is unreal. So just going, we're going to do this con with you every month on this day, and then doing it may seem basic, but you will literally stand out from most other people they're working with, because people just don't do this well. That sort of stuff, that can either be automated or templated, but certainly it's much more transactional. But on the flip side, you've got that stuff that I spoke about, which is about building relationships. And I'm going to mention 3 key ones that people typically don't do well. So first up, quick show of hands where people have had partnerships before and it looked like they were going to be great, but then over time there just seemed to be this kind of mismatch in what you were doing, and the relationship just gets a little bit funny and maybe it fizzles out. Have you had relationships like that before? Anyone? Okay, a few nods. Yeah. For me, number one reason why partnerships don't kick off like they should is expectations aren't set. And this needs to be done before someone's a partner, right? This is like the last meeting before you go, yeah, let's do this thing. And it can seem really counterintuitive. You're having loads of fun, you're planning world domination, this is going to be amazing. And then you go, right, let's just take a breath, still enjoy what we're doing, but go like, what's actually going to happen here? And we want to be looking at long-term expectations, because you may think you're on the same page, but even if you're 5% out, and I'm going to do this on a little bit of paper, if you're kind of 5% out at the start, then over time that gap in your thinking gets bigger and bigger and bigger, to a point where it's like you're not on the same page. So actually going, where do we really see this going, is one thing. It may be that your partner wants to bring your service in-house in 5 years' time. Well, that's fine, right? Jamie, maybe you're working with a broader digital marketing agency, and actually your specialism around email is they want to bring that. Well, that's fine. That doesn't mean you don't partner with them, but at least you know where they're heading, and maybe you can help them do that, and there's another service there. But it's better to know that than it come as a surprise and wondering why things maybe start going down a different path. So there's long-term expectations. There's then the kind of how we're going to do what we do over the next year, and that's the one that if people do set it, they typically do. But a crucial other one is, what are we doing right now, right? That's this big picture stuff, but what's the simple thing that we can do to just start doing? Because so many partnerships don't ever kick off because they don't kick off, because the kickoff is this big massive thing. So is there a content share? Is there a speaking at an event? Is there one particular project to do? Like, what's the one simple thing that you can do to build momentum? And who's doing what and who's doing what when? Getting those kind of varying levels of expectations down and documenting and getting agreement on them will be game changing in your partnerships, I promise you. The next piece on the comms is keep your partners informed. So this again touches like on that reporting side of things, keeping them in the loop. Your partners should never be wondering what's going on with their reputation, right? Keep them informed at the appropriate level for what they're looking for. Final one, have strategic reviews. So even if you're chatting to your partners all the time on a day-to-day basis, still take the time to have set out strategic reviews. It's a brilliant time to go back and look at those expectations. Like, where are we at around where we want to be? Check to make sure that they're still relevant. What does success look like for you is a lovely question that I like to ask clients and partners, right? Coming back to that and going, does success of this partnership still look the same for both of us? You can ask your partners if there's any niggles, what can you be doing better? Because there may be things that they wouldn't pick up the phone to you and say, be better at this, but asking them in a more relaxed environment, like, oh, you know what, there's that one thing on this report, or you know what, when Jane in the office does this, could she do it like this? You'd rather know that stuff, right, to keep it smooth and easy. But the most crucial thing for doing these reviews, keep it fun, keep it relaxed, be interested in your partners. Find out what's going on in their world, both from a business point and their point, build a relationship and be genuinely curious. Curiosity is the birthplace of opportunity. And by having these set out strategic reviews and asking your partners what's going on in their world, you will find new opportunities. I'm sure you've been working with people before, right? And they've talked about something they've done, and maybe they've gone, maybe it's a new supplier they're working with, or something else they're doing, and you go, "Oh, we do that. Well, I could have helped you with that," and it blows your mind that they haven't thought of you, right? You go, "Surely they would have thought of us for that," and you rack your brains why. And it comes back to that thing about being busy, right? We would love to think that everyone that works with us is fully aware of everything that we do, and we're always on their mind, and we're right front and center. We're just not. We're not that important to them, unfortunately. And so by having these strategic reviews and being genuinely curious and genuinely interested in what's going on in their world, you will uncover more opportunities for you, or you will uncover opportunities for other people that you can refer in that is good for them, good for your partner. It still builds your reputation. So that strategic review piece and being genuinely interested and curious is one that I really highly recommend. Okay, so the follow on from this is connection. We've got our partners in place. So many people I speak to, if I speak to them about partnerships, they've had them, but they've not worked. And it's because they've set them up and then the leads just haven't happened, right? And typically this is because we just presume the partner knows what to do and how to do it. And so the connection piece is what ties it all together. Hence the converse picture. Look, so see what I did there with the tie bit. If you have to explain it, it's not funny, Dave. Stop using that pun. But it really is where the magic happens, and it's about giving your partners, helping them to help you. This is where that make it easy bit really, really comes into play. And there's two sides to this that you need to look at. First one is partner facing materials. So this is if you're going to be more reliant on personal introductions from your partners, getting all the stuff out of your head around what to listen out for, when to refer you, how to position you, getting all of that out of your head and giving it to them is really, really valuable stuff to do. This is another little saying that I like to use, is that it's not common sense, it's experience. We think it's obvious when to refer us or how to refer us or when to position us, like, oh, but it's not obvious to them. And even if it might be relatively obvious to the person that you're talking to, if it's actually their team that's implementing the partnership, maybe they're not quite so opportunistic or switched on or business minded. And so making sure that you support your partners in giving them what's in your head and getting it out there is really important. I talk about things like moments in time and triggers. So like, when's the ideal point in a customer's in a customer's kind of life cycle that your product or service is super relevant? And when they're in that point, what sort of things are they saying? Like, oh, if you hear someone saying this, then that's the perfect time to introduce us. And you can take this a step further and actually look at your partner's customer journey and go, all right, there and there are the perfect time to refer us, right? It could be at onboarding, it could be at client review points, but really kind of work with your partners to make it easy for them to refer. If you've got the partner value proposition piece right, they want to refer you. They want to refer you, and people take the path of least resistance. So if you make it really easy for them to literally be ingrained in what they do, they'll thank you for it. It's not cheeky, they will thank you for it, I promise you. The second side of this is customer facing, right? So this is the way that you, instead of being reactively referred, this is the way you help your partners proactively put you in front of their audience, right? And like this little word map thing could probably be twice as big, right? It's all about how can you effectively be positioned, but also how does your partner communicate with their audience, right? Are they running live events? Are they doing webinars? Are there blogs? Like, what can you do that proactively adds value? There's a couple of points I want to make on this. First of all, on the make it easy front, I worked with huge marketing departments of some of those global brands you saw. And I was promoting their products to other people's customers. And they still used to send me emails that were written as though they were sending them direct to their own list. And so every week when they sent this, either me or someone in the team would have to amend that email so it sounded like it was coming from our partner and promoting a third party. But then the worst bit was we'd have to send it back to them for approval because we'd bloody changed the email. They did this every single time they sent it to us. It used to really piss me off. Don't be the person that pisses off your partners, right? Take your content and adapt it so that literally your partners can copy and paste, right? They will love you for it. It just becomes much more simple that way. On that note, that helps you to become whoever's responsible for the marketing within your partners. It helps you to become their best friend. You want to be the marketing manager's best friend in your partners, because then you can push more content. And this is another one where it might seem cheeky, but it's not. If you're producing genuine value add content and your partner value proposition is strong enough, then if you're a marketing manager in a business, and maybe you're not a marketing manager, maybe you're just someone who's been lumbered with the marketing because it's a small business, and you're giving them a bit of content for their social feed that week, and then an article for the newsletter next week, and then a guest blog post the next, you become their best friend because it's a bit of content that they don't have to worry about producing, and it's of interest to their audience because you've got your partner value proposition piece right. So like really finding out about the opportunities within your partner and then helping them helps you as well. It's a really, so many people don't do that, but you kind of want to almost get a marketing plan in place. And yeah, you become their best friend, which means when there's a new opportunity for something, they come to you first because you're the person that helps them out and you're really easy to work with. So this connection piece really is the bit where we need to, that you really want to double down on. Okay, so wrapping up now, we know who to partner with and why they want to work with us. We've got the systems and the communication processes in place. We're going to give them all the support they need. So it's time to get out there and get our partners. Now, if I asked you to pick who an ideal partner was for you right now, some of you may come up with big organizations that can provide you with thousands of leads. I'm going to argue with you that that's probably not the best partner for you right now, because they will take time to get on board potentially. They'll potentially break you, so you're not able to offer the level of service that you need, and they're not going to be very forgiving. For most of us, our ideal partners, when we're kicking off a partner program and looking to build it, are slightly smaller. It's people where they're going to come on board quickly. It's people where they're going to be a bit more forgiving if things aren't quite right. We can test and measure. But also the people that are going to be fun to work with, and we can build up our social proof and before we go on to the larger partners. So we want to this is one where we want to be easy on ourselves as well as other people actually. Now there's two things that we want to do on the strategy here. Remember your partner value proposition. Do not get into pitching about the value you can add to a client. Remember, it's all about how you're adding value to the partner. And then use your network. Now, for those of you that have been on my referral workshops, this is just an extension of that. For most of us, those ideal partners, for us kicking off, we'll have them within our network or once removed from our network. If they're directly in your network, but you don't want to approach them to be a partner because that feels a bit icky, maybe whatever the relationship's like, wonderful tactic is to go and ask them for help. Right? Hey, Olga, you know what? I hope you're well. I'm building out a partner program at the moment, and I've got to be honest, you're right within my target market. I would love some feedback on it if that's okay. I'm massaging Olga's ego because I'm valuing her opinion, but you know what most people are as well, despite what the Daily Mail tries to tell us? Most people are nice and they will help. They'll want to help. And so you'll get great feedback on your program, and maybe they'll become a partner, or they'll know other people like them that they can introduce you to. And on that referral piece, obviously I'm a big advocate of referrals, but sometimes where you're looking you're asking for direct client referrals, people sometimes have a bit of a hesitation because they go, no matter how nice they know you are, that there's a sales pitch implied in that introduction. If you've got your partner value proposition right, then an introduction to a partner has no sell attached to it. It's a genuine opportunity. So people will refer to potential partners all day long. My final bit on this is I mentioned about there being no sale. If you're ever having a partner conversation and it feels like you're pitching, stop, because you probably are. You should never have to sell a partnership. opportunity. You might have to lead the conversation, but if it ever feels like a pitch, you've either got your partner value proposition wrong, or the person that you're talking to isn't going to be the right partner for you. It should always feel like a genuinely exciting opportunity for both people that are part of that, for all parties involved in that conversation. So, have a really strong partner value proposition that's all about the value to the partner. Oh, doesn't want to work. Yeah. Have the systems in place that enable you to build trust, deliver a consistent level of service, and be able to scale. Make sure that you're doing the transactional communications right, but you're still really focusing on building a proper relationship with people. Give your partners all the support you can to actually get them to do what you want them to do. Help them to help you. And then remember kind of to leverage your network to build new partners in. Put all those things into place, and you'll be well on the way to doing partnerships in a great way. And we can all do our little happy dance. So I said 2 minutes right at the very end on how people can get more support from me. One way is my Kick-Ass Collaboration Program. It's the framework that you've just heard, but delivered in a group coaching format. It's done over a 6-month program with 2 live sessions a month. People are typically ready to go. The content's done by month 4. Last cohort that's just finished, people were all kind of having and launching as we were going, but the full content's done by them. There's the wonderful support you get from being part of a group. It's up to 8 business owners, and then one-to-one support from me. That's £400 a month. The intro call on that is next Tuesday, but the content proper starts in October, because it's the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays of the month. We have got 5 awesome business owners on there at the moment. Someone due to confirm today, so there's 2 more spots left on that. If people are interested, I obviously do one-to-one work as well, either one-to-one or with people's teams, it can be online or in person, on partnerships or that referral piece. If you're interested in that, or you just like a chat about what I do and how I do it, then please book a call. You can do a fancy scan of the QR code there. That will take you to a page with the recording will be on there shortly. The slides are on there. Booking a call with me is on there. All that wonderful stuff. I think Megan's going to drop some links into the chat anyway, and you'll get a follow-up email. So there's no getting away from me and accessing the information you want or booking a call. But that's it from me. So any questions? I should have a look at the chat now as well, shouldn't I?
Not a question, just a comment. I found the thing that I found most particularly useful was the value, the partnership value proposition. As you say, that flip. It's kind of sort of counterintuitive until you it's mentioned, and then it's obvious.
And I tell you what, it's even when you get into kind of having discussions, it's about keeping it coming back to that, because sometimes a partner will want to go features and benefits, and you kind of, while you don't want to not talk about that, you have to kind of remember to keep relaying it back round to why that's important. And it's why, like the first 2 sessions on the program, whether that's one-to-one or the group, are around this kind of this partner value proposition. And there is more than the audience congruence and authority piece, right? Like underpinning all of that is values, right? Like you could have all of that could be perfect, but if you and your partner have different outlooks on things, then it's just not gonna work. There'll be a mismatch. Like you'll be chatting with the clients and go, this isn't, I don't know why, but this isn't the right fit. They tick all the logical boxes, but it just doesn't. And so there's this values piece that underpins it all. It's it's by far the most important thing to get right. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you. Cheers. Nadia, yes.
Hi, thank you for this. And I must confess that I'm a fan now because of the last time with the Futuresmiths. So, and in terms of the referrals, remember I asked you about saying thank you.
Yeah.
Personal, and I sent chocolates and the thank you notes to a friend who referred me. And then he said, you didn't have to do that. I would have referred you anyway, sort of, you're a professional. I wouldn't, all of that, like, lifted my ego. And then I said, I didn't reply. Like, how do you carry the conversation once there? It becomes awkward. So do we put a full stop there, or do I say, okay, don't forget to refer me again next time, or like,
Yeah.
what's the etiquette?
And you know what, that personal one, by the way, so even if you've got more formal relationships in place, like partnership, and a partnership structure, and you're paying them a commission, I would still not shy away from doing the personal gift thing a little bit more for partners that are really, but maybe you don't always, you don't have to attach it to a particular bit of business. Just dropping a partner like a personal gift to say, thanks for being an awesome partner, and kind of goes a long way, because the commission piece, that benefits the business. The personal thing touches people on a more personal level. And so I would go, in that instance, I would go back with a, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know, but I wanted to. It's just nice to say thanks. Hopefully it raised a smile. And then yeah, you can go, really appreciate the support. Any more introductions, always gratefully appreciated. However you want to sign it off, yeah, I would remind them about referrals in a kind of in a light-hearted way. It's another opportunity to do so. But yeah, so yeah.
Thanks.
But then just put a note to stay in touch.
Stay in touch.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But and like, hey, how you doing? Like,
after a few months or so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it comes into that nurture piece, right?
Yeah.
With your partners, you want to have a proper communication process in place. You'll then have introducers who maybe aren't proper full partners, but that you know they're going to refer you more than casually, and they're people that every now and again you just want to drop a little note to, right, and see how they're doing. Stay front of mind.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
No worries at all. Any more? On that note, then, I'm going to wish you all well. Though, as I said, there'll be a follow-up email that comes out. As a final thing from me, it'd be very odd if I didn't ask for referrals. So next month's event is actually something slightly different. It's better referrals more often. So that's actually, so it's a slightly shorter session, but that is focused on the getting more referrals from your customers and your network at large. So I'll send details out on that. If you're able to make it, great. And if you're happy to spread the word, awesome. If you hear of people talking about, typically founders talking about the fact that they are nervous about the fact that they think they need to do something else other than referrals to get to the next level, then I would love an introduction for them, because they're the perfect people for me to chat to. Because they do need to do something different, but they need to do something different with what's already working for them. They just need to do it in a different, more scalable way. So I would love an introduction. And if you know any communities that are looking for a good guest speaker, and you think I'm good, then an introduction there is also always welcome. Thank you all. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Bye.
Bye-bye.